Hello everyone, my name is Rodney and we are right back with another web/mobile app development lesson. So in the last lessons, we looked at first generating our unique idea, and I think by around this time, each person has their unique idea. If you don't have your unique idea yet, please pause this lesson, go back, think of a unique idea. You can look at our second lesson that can guide you on how to create a unique idea. And I also know that by around this time, each person has their user persona. We said a user persona is a representation of our target audience. Just in case you don't have a user persona yet, please pause, go back and look at a user persona lesson to help you create your user persona. So today we are going to look at wireframing. So these lessons are structured in a way that they build upon the other. You can't skip the lesson. So we are going to understand what wireframing is and how we can make our own wireframes. So what is wireframing? Wireframing is the process of creating a visual representation of an idea for a website or app. So it means that wireframing is all about creating a rough sketch or blueprint of a design concept before getting into details. So wireframing is quite simple. It is all about sketching your app idea. So if you want to work on an e-commerce website, a website where we can buy reusable products. For example, you've created your website where you sell water cans that are made out of recycled plastic. So we now get a pen and paper and we sketch out our idea. How do you want your idea to appear? So we just sketch it out as basic as what you see right here. It is called a wireframe. So wireframes are basic sketches and they show the structure of the layout of a design. Okay? They don't include specific colors, fonts, or images, but they focus on the elements like the placement of text, the placement of buttons, and other elements. So they are not really, we don't go into specific details like holding a ruler, getting poster colors, doing all those things to come up with something visually appealing. No, but we focus on sketching. Okay, we sketch on paper and then we show that, okay, in my website, at the top, I'll be having an image. Below the image, I'll have a button. Below the button, I'll have a text field. Below the text field, I'll have this and this and this and this. So basically, we just sketch, okay? We sketch and then we show the different pages that our website will be having, okay? So in this example, you see that on top, perhaps there will be logo. Then down, we shall be having different sections, have different buttons, etc. So it's basically something basic that we can do using pen. And remember, wireframes, we don't use pencils to make wireframes. We use a pen. And then if you do something and you see it is not perfect, you don't need to erase. You just need to do something else. So the more you do something else, you look back at the series of designs you've created and then you appreciate the journey rather than erasing. So we shall be using a compo pen. Okay, I hope you have your compo pens. We shall be using a compo pen, and we won't also need a ruler. So let us look at why wireframing is important. So, the first reason as to why wireframing is important is because it helps to organize and prioritize content. So when we make our wireframes, okay, we map out the structure of the layout. And this will help us understand which content should be given priority. Okay? So, and it ensures that the most important information is given prominence. So when we create our wireframes, remember we have our vision in the head. It helps us to put the vision on paper, and then we know that, okay, I should give this section more emphasis than this. And the reason that's why we don't just jump into coding, okay, our approach is not all about jumping into coding, because we want to understand the journey, to appreciate the journey. If you have your wireframe, you know that, okay, this content should pop out more than this. So when we progress and later on we start coding, you now understand where to put focus. Okay, so the first importance of creating a wireframe is to help us prioritize, give priority to specific content. Okay, so we know that in this example, the video section, for example, this video section is going to be prominent. Okay, and then it helps us that now when we jump into designing and coding, we know the content that should be given priority. Then it also allows for early testing and validation of design ideas. So we usually create wireframes. After creating these wireframes, we show these wireframes for feedback purposes. Perhaps you might be working on a design that is a little bit complicated, okay? And when you jump into coding before you validate your idea, you might spend weeks, months, or years coding an idea. Yet, at the end, the idea is faulty. But if we create our wireframes fast, remember a wireframe can take you about 5 minutes to create. It helps us to test our ideas early enough. You can share a wireframe with a friend and then be like, how is this idea? Then based on the wireframe, someone can determine a few problems earlier so that you can improve your design before investing a lot of resources in development. Are we together? So with a wireframe, you just invest a few minutes and then you have your design ready. So you can share this with friends, you can share this with your instructors, with your stakeholders to understand where the problems are and then to clear it out before investing a lot of time. Then it saves time and resources, okay, because you identify potential problems early on. So if you create your wireframes, you identify potential problems within the design before development begins. So this will save you time and resources. Like I said, instead of spending years working on an idea just to find out that no one needs this idea, it is important for you to first create a wireframe, share this wireframe, and then people will be like, yes, I think this is a brilliant idea. How about you adjust this design and do something like this? How about this and this and this and this? Okay. Then investing time later on gets to be disappointing. So it helps us save time because now you know where different sections will be placed, and now we can gather our feedback and concentrate on the designing after validating our idea. So let us briefly look at how to create a wireframe. how can we create a wireframe? The first thing is we have to first define the purpose and goals of the design. Remember, we went through the process of getting a unique idea. Also, we went through the process of creating our user persona. And right now, we just define the purpose and goal of the design. Okay? So, it is important to understand the purpose of the design. What goals should it accomplish? So, if your purpose is to validate your idea, okay? If the purpose for the wireframe is to gather feedback, this should be very clear, so that in the process of creating your wireframe, you have in mind that, okay, at the end of the day, I want to gather feedback. So you create your wireframe pretty fast, and then it should be able to accomplish the purpose of creating it. So after identifying the purpose the next is to identify the key content and features that need to be included. So remember, an Apple website might have very, very many features, okay? But when we are creating a wireframe, we identify the key features that we want to be included on our wireframe. This might include navigation buttons, this might include images, text, videos, okay? We just have to understand which content should be given priority. And then when you're creating your wireframe, you indicate the type of content that you want. Perhaps if, let's say we are creating a wireframe for YouTube, we know that for YouTube, it is a must. We must indicate the video thumbnails, okay? And then we should indicate some buttons below the video thumbnails. So you have to identify the key content features that you need to include. And after that, you have to determine the layout structure of the design. So just as we saw here, you have to determine the layout structure. So here it is important for you to first make some research about maybe a mobile app layout structure, a website layout structure, and see how these structures are. So after that, you can also identify your own structure, of course, in harmony with how a basic web or mobile app structure is. And then you understand that app, I'll have maybe a search bar. Below the search bar, I'll have a text field. Then I'll have maybe somewhere where I can insert an image. You understand? So you have to determine the structure of the design. So it might involve deciding on the placement of the elements of the page or the hierarchy of the information. Hierarchy means what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, and what comes last. Then from there, you just have to create a basic sketch or blueprint of the design. So just get your pen and paper, start creating a sketch. Okay, just create a sketch using pen and paper or digital tools. Don't think about it too much. After understanding the purpose of your design, after mapping out which content should come first, and after going through all the process that we mentioned, get pen and paper and then create your wireframe. So the wireframe should focus on the overall structure and layout of the design without getting into a lot of details such as images, fonts, or colors. So you have to keep it simple, and remember it is just a representation of the design. So focus on the structure of the website or app and avoid getting caught up in the details, and use common design convention patterns. I'll share with you some of the common design patterns. For example, if we are creating an icon that shows that this is an image, okay? This is an image. For example, in this example, this square that has a cross that has an X inside represents an image, okay? And this square that has this round and then this shape inside represents a video. And of course, like we say, this is an image. So we have to use common design conventions and patterns. We shall learn more about the common design conventions and patterns. Then we have to consider the needs and the goals of the users. So when we are creating our wireframe, we have to give priority to the users. So when you're creating anything, you need to see things from the user's point of view. How will your users use your website or app? So don't create anything for you. You have to create for your users. So how will your users navigate your website or app? You have to keep all this in mind when you're developing your wireframe. Remember, initially, you made some research about your potential users. Right now, you know their demographic, you know their age, you know what interests them. If they are teens, you know that teens love things which are popping, things that are fun, things that are colorful. So you have to design with the user in mind. So we have this simple and interesting exercise. It's called the Wireframe Scavenger, and it involves you creating wireframes of your website or app that you brainstormed earlier. So I understand each person has a unique mobile app or website. So we are going to create wireframes that represent our website or app idea. You should create around at least 5 screens. So when I talk of screens, this is what I mean. Are you seeing this? This is screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For example, you might have the home. If your idea is for a website where students can meet their instructors online, you can say screen 1 is a welcoming screen that has information about the website. Screen 2 is the login screen where you log in. Then screen 3 maybe is where you see different categories of courses. Then screen 4 is maybe when you've logged into a specific course and then you have the details about the course. Screen 5 is where perhaps now you have this interaction with your teacher. Okay, so in this exercise, you're going to pick up a pen, a compo pen, or a roller tip, and then you shall sketch out your idea. And then you'll be able to hand in your assignment so that we can go through your ideas and then we can advise you accordingly. Thank you so much.